That's better. Check. So, so for you guys here, you really should be able to speak in a normal voice without having to move it around too much. If you do, need to go height, if it's like sitting way up here on you, you may, but you can see I'm not speaking overly loud, conversational. It should pick you up. Yeah. I think it probably will be. Yeah. I would say name. Yeah. Yeah. For those of you I don't know, I am Michael Thompson. I'm the Dean of your undergraduate college. And I'd like to welcome you first to a tradition renewed. Passages is an event that is aimed at celebrating the successful completion of your first year at Pfeiffer and transition to life as an upperclassman. And we are very, very happy that after several disruptions, we're able to do this once again in person. So that is a joy, certainly, to me, if not to everyone else. One of the centerpieces of this event over the years has been the sharing of This I Believe papers. And I was in discussion with Dr. Burris earlier this week about how long we have been asking students to write these belief-based essays. And it just so happened that I pulled up a fall of 2012 assignment page that I'm going to argue was maybe one of the first times that we implemented this. And so I want to read it a little bit to you, certainly to remind those of you who are finishing up those papers and sharing them with your classrooms, and for those of you who are new to this event to know what it's about. And so the prompt for the assignment goes like this. A significant portion of the first year experience is focused on several approaches to answering the twin questions, who am I and where am I going? The transition to college is often challenging, certainly for those of you who have been transitioning over these past couple of years. In order to establish stability in this new academic and community setting, it is critical to understand and to be able to communicate the influences that define who you are at this moment in your life. Only then can you begin the process of planning where you are going and be open to the alternate paths that life may present. This assignment is an effort to encourage you to name your belief in the clearest, most tangible way. It follows the model created in the 1950s through essays and radio broadcasts hosted by Edward R. Murrow. And Edward R. Murrow, if you don't know that name, was a noted and celebrated journalist during the World War II in particular and well into the 50s. So he started this tradition of creating these belief-based essays, and it's been continued through a partnership with National Public Radio, even up to the present. So your charge, students, like that to the essayists for the series, is as follows. And this is how it is defined on the current This I Believe website. And it names these few directions. Tell a story. Be specific. Take your belief out of the ether and ground it in the events and influences of your life. Your story need not be heartwarming or gut-wrenching, but it should be real. Consider the moments when your belief was formed, when it was tested, or when it was changed. Make sure your story ties to the essence of your daily life philosophy and the shaping of your beliefs. Be as brief as you can. Make sure you're concise. You should not try to tell your life story. A shorter length forces you to focus on the belief that's central to you. Name your belief. If you can't name it in a sentence or two, your essay might not be about belief. Be positive. Say what you do believe, not what you don't believe. And finally, be personal. Make your essay about you. Feel free to speak in the first person. This was what I borrowed and took and made an effort to implement in those early days when you guys were, 8 years old, 9 years old? Man, okay. I don't know how it's been framed to you, but that's the goal. And it offers us an opportunity to remind ourselves who we are and then to share that with folks around us. So we're going to listen to some select few this morning, and I invite you into this opportunity to listen to your peers. So if you haven't already, check your phone, silence it, and focus here this morning and discover something new about your classmates. We may be watching a slideshow first, We're going to watch a slideshow that's a reflection of this academic year. And as soon as that is over, we'll begin with Annalise. All right.
My name is Annalise Robinson, and I am a major in criminal justice and a minor in psychology, and this is my This I Believe speech. In life, there's a mixture of good and bad. Those days where it takes a little bit more energy to put a smile on your face compared to the previous. Days where feeling okay is impossible. With those days comes light. It is may unexpected, but it comes when we need it most. Those oh so bad days. This, I believe, is needed to keep us going. If everything was perfect all the time, there would be no stories to tell and there would be no lessons learned. I have learned over the course of a year to be thankful for the good and bad days. Before I had a full understanding of life and the obstacles I face and I'm currently facing, I had the mindset of why me? I would lay in bed for hours in a pool of depression and anxiety and continue to ask the question, why me? I would let the bad days overcome any good I had ever experienced, and as you can imagine, that didn't end well. I soon found myself at my lowest point, begging and asking anyone around me to help me and pull me up before I drowned in a whirlpool of negative emotions. I remember these emotions so vividly because I now use them as motivation rather than letting them flood my brain like I used to. I used to be so dependent on a life period where I wanted to be perfect. Being a perfect person to me was having a perfect day, a perfect mindset, and a perfect way of presenting themselves. This, as you can imagine, was unhealthy. Reality hit. Those days are far too rare for me to be dependent on. It is unhealthy for me to seek perfection in such a way that I am completely dependent on it. The beauty of life comes down to those bad days. Can you still feel the light even when the sun is covered by 100 storming clouds? The answer should be yes, because you're alive to see those storm clouds and you're alive to go through the storm, to therefore share that story with someone who's too scared to live through it. This imagery has helped me see the bigger picture of life itself and to see the beauty in the struggle. There's beauty to those days where everyone and everything seems impossible. It makes the days where you have just enough serotonin to put a smile on your face finally mean everything when you say, I'm fine. This seems a whole lot better than how I originally viewed it. I have learned to be grateful for being able to feel these emotions because at the end of the day, every lifetime, it counts as a day.
Hey everybody, my name is Cameron Evans and I am a part of the honors seminar class. For me, I could not just pick one essay that truly encases what I believe. I was scrolling through trying to find something I relate to, and I came across two stories that caught my attention. Everlasting love and the power of music really spoke volumes on two topics I'm deeply passionate about. Everlasting love has two main themes. One is being desiring more, and the other being fire of God. This essay was written by a lady named Ruth. She discussed her desire as a child for more than this world could offer. She desired a deep love and connection. She unfortunately grew up in a household where she did not receive a lot of affection. She found herself at this place like a tent revival, and her friends got to the front row and she found God. From this experience, she found what she was looking for. She had gone her whole life wanting someone to love her, and she found that. It does go on to say that when she moved to the States that she lost her connection with God, but it wasn't until she lost everything that she found God. Why is this important to me? My whole life, I desire a deep relationship with God. It is very important to me. It has been my whole life belief system. For me, I really struggle with knowing that I am loved. I'm very quick to tell people that they are loved, but for some reason, I just can't believe it in myself. To know that God loves me and that He truly does is something that's really hard for me to understand. What do I take away from this? For me, it is knowing that the same love that's extended to this lady is extended to me. No matter what I do, no matter what I say, I know this is that I am loved. Even though I go through many troubles, I know that my brain is not the ruler, and is certainly not correct when it tells me I'm not enough. My walk with God has helped me through many things. I unfortunately was in a car accident a couple summers ago, and very minor injuries, but I developed PTSD from it. And going through depression and anxiety, I just could not go through those things if I didn't have a walk with God. My other essay that I found was called The Power of Music. In this essay, James was talking about the power that music holds over people. He said this, and it really resonated with me. I would vent all my depression out through the band's words. I probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the music. Music to some people, including myself, is a saving grace. Music speaks so specifically to people. Finding different bands and artists has allowed me to work through some of the problems of my life. To James, music was the place that he could express his feelings, and it was a place he felt sane. In this world, most of us have people, things, objects that are our safe place. Music is my safe place. Music is just important to me as faith. In my opinion, they both go hand in hand. I believe that when I was at my lowest, God gave me the outlet of music. Truly, without music, I would not be standing here before you. I found my comfort in 21 Pilots, and they made music that I understood all the references. Through these two individuals, I got through my depression and other things of my life. Music is and will always be an outlet for me. I want to thank you for listening, and thank you.
Good morning. My name's Kennedy Marion, and I'm here to give you my I believe. A dream is an interesting thing. I believe that if you work hard and dedicate yourself to a goal, your everyday dream will eventually become easier and you will be one step closer to being a success. A dream is defined as an aspiration, ideal, or an ambition. The infamous Langston Hughes authored a poem called What Happens to a Dream Deferred? And it reads, do it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore, and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or crushed in sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load, or does it explode? A dream is a powerful thing when your plan is written and your vision is clear. A dream takes a lot of work and practice. It is never perfect. It is easy to have a dream, but it can be difficult to stay on path to your dreams and not give up. Things do not always work out the way that you plan, and it makes you want to stop, give up, and give in. However, giving up is the easy way to do things. It takes courage and determination to keep following your dreams when things are not working or going well. Langston Hughes authored this poem for African Americans to think about their aspirations and think of the consequences if their hopes and dreams did not come true. This poem was a call to action for the community. I believe that it's harder for me as a young African American male to ignore the distractions of the world and follow my dreams, which will lead to accomplished goals. I believe that the obstacles that I have to face make it a million times harder to make my dreams come true. The thought of achieving a dream makes the journey travel seem worthwhile. Attaining a dream and fulfilling the many aspirations of life brings joy and a sense of pride. The accomplishment of a dream is a dream that is not denied. The hopes, the struggles, the setbacks, and the letdowns are all part of preparing to accomplish this dream. Sometimes you have to struggle and be uncomfortable to get comfortable. This is a marathon, not a sprint, so continue to work toward the dream of yours you want to accomplish. I believe a dream is a life wish that can come true with patience and time. Sometimes dreams come true by chance, coincidence, or even running into the right people. Dreams are goals, wants, and aspirations that need to be cultivated in order to come true. People often sit and wait for dreams to happen, but you cannot sit around and wait for the opportunity. You have to obtain every chance you get. I believe a dream is a plan of action turned into a goal that has to be acted upon every moment of the day. Your dreams have to be too actionable to become a reality, and a reality is based on the start of a dream, finalized by working specifically to make it all come true. I believe that you should dream big, work hard, and plan to be a success. Success is a result of hard work to fulfill those dreams. A popular quote by an unknown author reads, set your goals, make your plans, and chase your dreams. I'm chasing my dreams every day, so what about you?
Good morning, everyone. How many of y'all feel proud of where you are right now and who you are? Any of y'all? That's great. I feel proud of myself and where I am. This is I Believe, and today I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about my background, history, and this is how it goes. I was born in the Dominican Republic in March 3 of 2002. My mom and my dad, they were basically kids when they had me. My mom was turning 14 to 15, my dad was 19 to 20. At this time, none of them have money to raise a family. And my family, they couldn't help us because they didn't have enough money to support us. My dad had to stop going to school to find a job to take care of me and my mom. It was extremely hard for him because the money that he was making was not enough to take care of the family. There were days where my parents did not have anything to eat, but they always find a way to fill my stomach with water and sugar. 2 years later, my parents had another kid who is my sister Anna. Everything with her was a little bit different because my dad has found better jobs opportunity. While growing up, I was realizing that my family was a poor family. Um, I remember me um, playing with other kids in the street um, with a short pants, a one jersey, one shirt, and no shoes, playing with dirt on the street and having a lot of fun without money. Um, I remember going to school with my uniform, which was the most beautiful clothes that I have at the time, and my one group pencil that used to last long until it was this small. Um, um, I take care of every little thing that I have. Um, with the pass of the time, my dad he keep finding a lot of good jobs opportunity. At the age of 7, my mom and my dad separate, and that was something that affected me really hard. But everything was for the better of my family. My dad moved to Puerto Rico with his father, and with all of this, I keep myself as strong as a kid. I was doing good in school, and I got work with the mentality of taking care of my mom and my sister. With the move of my dad to Puerto Rico, the life for us was changing for the better. My dad, with low resources, he started working. He started studying heating and cooling, so he can have a little bit of money to send us to the Dominican Republic and feed us. Um, with the pass of the time, my dad take me and my sister to Puerto Rico, and that was something that affected me really hard and affect my sister because we were separate from our mom. And I fell in fourth grade also because I was in depression. I was going through a hard time. But we keep it up. We never give up, and we keep working hard. After living for many years in Puerto Rico, um, we moved to North Carolina, Charlotte, in the United States, where things becomes badly for my sister and I, because at the time we didn't know nothing of English. We were bullied in school. Everything was hard for us, and we worked really hard with our English. We worked really hard. We we in school, and out of every bad moment, there's something pos- positive that you can take. For me, was when I came in the beginning. I was in my gym class when my coach from baseball he saw my name on the back of my jersey, and he asked me, "Did you play baseball?" And my answer was yes. "What position do you play?" And my answer was yes. Um, do you want to play baseball? Yes. Everything was yes because I couldn't understand nothing, but I put so many hard work and never give up. In today's day, my father he has his own second company here in Charlotte. I am a student here in Pfeiffer University, and I graduated from the high school with a 3.17 GPA. In today's day, I still struggling right now, but I will not give up. My sister Anna, which is not with me anymore because of family issue, um, she have to move. That was something that really helped me and affect me a lot because we are working together. Um, but I believe that no matter what you're going through in life, there will be a solution. I believe No matter where you came from, you are able to be the greatest person ever. I believe that if you put a lot of hard work, dedication, and love, you will be able to get what you want, to be as good as you want. I believe that life is not hard. You just need to know how to receive every punch and how to punch it back. I believe that we are able to do everything that we want, everything that we dream of. And if one day you think about giving up, think about why you start. I believe that if you believe in yourself, everything is possible. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kennedy Hudler. So when I read about this assignment and I was trying to think of what I strongly believe in, the first thing that came to mind was giving and loving as Christ loved us. I was taught from an early age that showing God's love to others and giving with a generous heart was never something you do for your own glory, but for the glory of God. We were taught that you do for others without expecting praise or recognition. When I was in 4th or 5th grade, my parents ran the youth program at the church we were attending. At first, it was just my sister and some of the kids that had already went to church with us. My dad has such a big heart and is always looking for a way to give back to others. He and my mother knew some children that were not going to church regularly and wanted to help make sure they were learning about Jesus in some way. My dad started bringing home a work van on Saturday night so he would be ready to pick up anyone who wanted to come to church with us on Sunday morning. I remember him getting up extra early to make sure the church van was warm and that each child he picked up had a biscuit to eat on the ride to church. Once this ministry started, my dad ended up with around 10 children of all different ages in all different ends of the county. He never once missed a Sunday morning. He always made sure that each child would have transportation to every church function. I was young and never realized how blessed I was compared to those children that he picked up. I remember all the children we took to church being so excited for us to get them. Some of the children we carried to church had poor home lives, and occasionally those children would stay at my house just a little longer. My mom and dad never failed to provide for me, my sister, plus the children they so willingly helped with food, clothes, and sometimes a roof over their head. I'm not telling the story for everyone to look at my parents and praise them because they never would have wanted that. Anything and everything that they have done for others, they've always done in private, never wanting any kind of praise for their actions. They give and give, expecting nothing in return. My parents have always taught me that giving with a cheerful heart will reward you more than anything. The satisfaction my parents would get would be those little kids' big eyes and smiles running to give them hugs. That was worth more to them than anything. I always wondered why those children were so happy to see my parents. I did not understand that those children did not go home to parents who loved them and taught them about Jesus and his love. I thought every child had food to eat and clean clothes to wear because that is what my parents made sure of. It was a real revelation to me when 2 of the children we took to church every Sunday and Wednesday had a completely different home life than my sister and me. When we stopped at the store to buy snacks, they would always be so happy to get a simple bag of chips and a drink. I felt my heart breaking for them. I bought a big bag of chips for each of them and a 2-liter drink to take home, and when I did, my heart was so full of happiness. It was then I felt what my parents always feel when they give to others. I knew that day what my parents meant by telling me that giving with a cheerful heart would reward me more than anything. It was true. The feeling I get inside when I help others is an amazing feeling. It is God's love, and I would not trade it for anything. Showing love to others can be as simple as a smile, saying hello to someone who seems sad, taking up for someone who's being bullied, sharing your snacks or lunch with someone, holding a door open for someone, and the list goes on and on. The Lord has been good to me and my family, and he has allowed us to be able to help others for his glory, not ours. God will fill your heart with gladness when you give and love unconditionally. He put those children in my life all those years ago to teach me a lesson on giving and loving, and I thank him for that today.
Hello, all. My name is Noah Maxwell, and today I will talk about my I Believe speech, which is I believe that I can make a difference. Now, when I say this, I don't mean in the world, I mean personally in myself. I've had a lot of struggles this year with school. It's been a big thing for me, and trying to figure out how to solve these problems that I've had has been a struggle for me. School has always been something that was required. You had to do it. I was forced to go to school every day, and I always kind of hated it. Only reason I would go would be for see friends, get a nice lunch, go to practice after. It's really the only reason. And when I got to college, I realized it's no joke. You can't really mess around with your schoolwork. So that was something that really shocked me when I first figured out about that. I have always had a great interest in sports, and I've also recently got an interest in the business world. And that's why I decided for a major of sports management. I believe that I really like this major that I've chosen. I think it'll be a good major. And I was honestly probably a little too excited for it because I forgot about gen eds and how you kind of have to take them. I got a little too excited to take the sports management courses, all the business courses, and I slacked off a little bit. And I've realized that this can cause a lot of stress for you, even like second semester, because I'm not that good at history, and I didn't do good in history first semester. So second semester, this semester, I've had to lock down on my schoolwork to try and make it better. And it has caused a lot of stress for me, and it's something that I'm currently working with. I've never been one to stress in my life. I've always kind of thought school is just whatever, and I'll get by it. My sister used to be very jealous of how little I would stress about school. Now I kind of feel her pain. And making this change has definitely been something that has opened my eyes to how lucky I can be to be at college. I know many people who see me in college and they say, don't take it for granted because not everybody gets the opportunity, and you need to take advantage of the opportunities that you're given. That's why I believe that I can make a difference in my life by taking my school more seriously, and I believe all of you can too. Thank you.
Uh, my name is Jonathan McCullum, and as I was thinking about what to write about for like this, I believe, I really didn't know. And what I came up with was I just talk about my life. So this is what I said. As a kid, I never fit in with the crowd. I was an unathletic black kid that grew up on the west side of Charlotte and went to an all-white elementary school. So I always felt like an outsider from kindergarten all the way to fifth grade. After fifth grade, my mom told me I was going to Quail Hollow Middle School. And in my head, I thought, yes, I would finally go to a predominantly black school where I could be myself without any backlash. However, I soon realized this was not the case. As I grew up in my household, I was always taught never to show emotions. And I began to get in trouble from sixth grade all the way till 10th. My mom seen changes in me and realized that she needed to get me out of public school and get me into a better environment. What she did not know was that I was only acting the way I did to fit in with the crowd. I never had the nice shoes. We grew up poor. I never had the nice clothes. Again, I had no basketball abilities. I was really unathletic. So I never really had an outreach. Um, my whole life I felt different than others, and I just wanted to be at a place where I could be accepted. My mom gathered enough money to send me to Victory Christian Center, which was a private school out in Charlotte. Here is when I realized my love for basketball, and I began to pursue it with everything in me. I worked my butt off to become a talented high school player, but I was still not happy. I asked myself, was I playing for myself or was I playing to get the recognition of others? So after I graduated high school, I took that whole summer and worked on myself, and I did what I wanted to do and realized that it's okay not to fit in with the crowd, and it's okay to be your own person. Because at the end of the day, the only person you should ever strive to please is yourself.
Okay, my name is Shania Rhodes, and for my seminar class, we had to choose an article that spoke to us. And the article that I chose was about a man who was wrongfully accused for sexually assaulting Jennifer Thompson. This man's name was Ronald Cotton. He had a whole life, a girlfriend, a family, and unfortunately all of that went away when Jennifer wrongfully identified him as her attacker. Ronald served 11 years in prison. During these 11 years, he was angry, depressed, confused, and isolated. But he was never angry at Jennifer. He never blamed her for wrongfully accusing him, even though Jennifer had held such a grudge against her attacker. Later, she realized that no matter how angry she was, no matter what she wished upon him, she would never be fulfilled. When Jennifer realized that Ronald wasn't her attacker, she felt so guilty. Ronald was let out of jail, and him and Jennifer became amazing friends. Through this experience, they learned that holding grudges and building up all that pain will never give you the relief or satisfaction that you're looking for. When I go back and I think about my personal life and how this story truly affects me, I think about a friendship that I used to have. I was so focused on getting back at that person for leaving me and making me feel so used and abandoned. I came to notice that all that anger and all that pain was bringing me down and making me feel less of myself when that person could care less what I was doing now. When we tend to have this mindset, but not only are we affecting ourselves, but we affect the people who surround us. Everybody says forgive and forget, but with circumstances like this, you forgive and you use that to grow. So this I believe. Don't dwell in the pain and the hurt because you're only holding yourself back. Use it to build yourself up and move forward, not bring you down.
Hello, my name is Kenyon, and my this I believe is I believe death is not the end of our journey. Death is often negative, but when I look at it closely, it makes room for positivity. Yes, positivity that's usually sizable in the heart of death. What does this mean? It means that even though we all die, we each have someone in this world, or eventually will, that will always keep your spirit alive and maintain the positivity after death. I believe death is the truest spiritual connection that can be accomplished in this life. A spiritual connection to what? Think of death as an everlasting freedom. With this, the unthinkable can be achieved. The unthinkable being able to consciously connect to hearts of friends and family spiritually, which is a difficult task to do in itself right now. I do believe astral projection, an out-of-body experience in astral plane, can give an insight on where we actually go when we do pass. I believe we become spirits and are sent to a form of astral plane with no crime, language barriers, or racial diversity. A place where we are all finally connected spiritually. I believe our spirits have to be kept alive by someone. If that's a family member, close friend, just thinking of you or sharing your journey while living. This is how the journey continues. It's when the spirit is forgotten is when the spirit will die, taking remnants of the dead spirit into purgatory where it might live forever until they disappear. Thank you.
Mic check, 1, 2. All right, hello, I'm Nathan Summerall. I'm going to be explaining how you all are programmed to fail in relationships. Many of us began dating and starting relationships in junior high to high school. but they usually don't go perfectly smooth. I believe we are programmed to fail in relationships by our parents, and our parents were programmed to fail in relationships by their parents, and so on and so forth. Humans are 98% emotional and only 2% rational, meaning to be a fully functioning human being, we have to master our emotions. The problem is that since our parents, generally speaking, weren't emotionally competent, they couldn't teach us either by modeling their behavior or by just instructing us how to be emotionally competent. Instead, what parents do, and this is almost universal, is they invalidate their children's emotions. Emotional invalidation is something that has been so heavily implemented into parenting that it is everywhere and nobody even notices what they're doing. Parents will say they're emotionally invalidating their children in order to toughen them up because it's a tough world out there. But brain science and developmental psychology research shows that emotional invalidation is one of the worst things you can do to a child. Remember when you were a little kid, you might have fell and scraped your knee. You're told to toughen up. It's not that bad. You'll get over it. Good parents have to be emotional coaches and help their children navigate the process of building an emotional database. If parents do not do that, what children experience is deep hurt. And in order to prevent a loss of connection, we build walls around ourselves and stuff away negative emotions and know that we can't have feelings, and that to have feeling is to be weak or irrational. And if we want to be adults, we can't show feelings. So as we're growing up, our peers and other children are learning the same thing. So when they display emotions among their friends immediately put them down. It's almost like an emotional policing. And so we learn that emotions are bad, and we build up all this pain inside of ourselves, and we wall off the pain. And we engage in activities that protect us from feeling, like video games, for example. Although our generation isn't the first to be attracted to things like video games, we become absorbed and get addicted because it's a way of escaping or finding emotional safety. The thing we as humans need is to feel emotionally safe, and yet we don't feel emotionally safe. Our parents weren't emotionally safe for us. Our brothers, sisters, and friends weren't emotionally safe for us. And because of all the bottling up, we don't even feel as safe with our own emotions. And now we come into adulthood, and biology starts driving you to relationships. And what tools do you have to make that relationship work at a deep and intimate level? Every person coming into a relationship wants connection, emotional safety, intimacy, validation, and wants to feel loved. Where do you learn those skills? Well, the truth is you don't learn those skills. Your parents never teach them to you. You are programmed the exact opposite. You are programmed to fail in relationships. Thank you.
The most important part of this morning is hearing these stories and knowing that they are the representatives of many, many more stories all of you have created and shared with one another. It takes a lot of people behind the scenes to make a program work. And I wish I could give special recognition to all of those people, but we're running a little short on time. So I'm going to make an executive decision here to cut to the chase, and we've recognized the mentors. You love them, I love them. We have a group of peer mentors and a couple of special awards to be made before we leave here this morning. The person I'd like to introduce next and recognize strongly is Alexis Walters. She has been the lead peer mentor for our program this year. She has been the linking pin between the mentors, the instructors, and the peer mentors who have been assisting. She's been the thread throughout all the events of the year and the most important things that we've tried to accomplish on your behalf. So at this time, I want to both thank and recognize and call forth Alexis. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you, Deb. You almost made me cry, but that's okay. So I'm gonna try to make this quick as well. I have 3 awards that I'm gonna be giving out. The first one is one that I just created this year just because I felt like we had somebody on staff that deserved some more recognition. And he couldn't be here today, but if any of you know Evan Addison, I'm sure you've seen him around campus on the lacrosse field. For the past 3 years, he's just always been there to help, inspire, and just kind of create a community where learning and being yourself is okay. So if you see Evan, just tell him thank you, but I'll be getting that to him. And then the second award that we wanted to give out was for Peer Mentor of the Year. All of our Peer Mentor staff voted on this. And I've never seen somebody jump into a role so quickly, but as I got to know this person, and I'm sure all of you have gotten to know her as well, you could probably say the same thing. So this year, our Peer Mentor of the Year is Kenise Brown. You can stay right here. Last award here. I'm sure you guys know, and all the peer mentors kind of stressed the journey games this year. We had you guys send in pictures. You saw some of them in the slideshow up there. First semester, it was kind of a close competition, but second semester, one class kind of took the lead, and that was Kenise's class. So congrats, guys, on winning the journey games. And so the trophy for the Journey Games got locked away during COVID and we couldn't find it. And so I know that this doesn't suffice for
It's okay, Deb. We'll take a Carowinds trip.
But you have this little trophy for right now. But congrats.
Thank you. We'll take a picture.
Look, I know you're getting antsy. Do you have 11 o'clock classes? All right, relax and just listen up for a second and tell your professors that you're sorry you're 3 minutes late. I have been astonished by you today. And first of all, some of us have been busy this week with really abstract work with accrediting bodies. And last week, I went and asked for a gift from a person in the community. You are a testament to Pfeiffer University. And you remind me why I wake up and come here every morning. And I want to thank the professors for lifting up some wonderful voices, some voices that are new to me personally, and for teaching this extra class this semester, this year. Thank you. This time of year, when we're recruiting high school seniors and when we're asking college freshmen to consider staying in college, we talk a lot about data and surveys. College presidents are famous for saying this time of year, finish college or go to college. Because if you do, you will earn, on average, $1.2 million more over the course of your lifetime with a college degree if you are compared to a person without a college degree. That's an important stat. It's an important thing to, in some cases, be the first person to pull your family out of the cycle of poverty. It's important for you to have some of the things that your parents and grandparents or my parents and grandparents didn't have. But this university was founded by a woman. Her statue is about 150 yards from here, right in front of the administration building. I encourage you to stop sometime during exam week and look that statue in the eye. I looked that statue in the eye Sunday night as I was planning my week. Sometimes people look at me like I'm crazy because I'm talking to the statue and I'm asking, what should I do? But Emily Pruden came to this part of the world and she wanted to find financially disadvantaged people in whom she saw gifts, giftedness, power, and strength. And her motto was, as Dr. Thompson so ably reminds us, I wanted to train them up to lead lives of useful service. So she started teaching them to read, and she used scripture, she used the Bible to teach them to read. She was deaf. She had a debilitating lower body condition that they called arthritis, but we're sure now it was probably something much worse. She left a life of wealth in the Northeast, and she came here. And it strikes me again and again that she did not repeatedly ask herself, what will I get? Will I make $1.1 million more than my parents or my grandparents made? She constantly asked, what will I give? So as you go home this summer, or as you're just trying to grind through exam week and writing last research papers and wondering, why do I have to write a research paper on Shakespeare when I'm a business major? Or why do I have to write a paper on Warren Buffett when I'm an English major? When all I want to do is teach school or become a nurse or manage someone's wealth. I want you to trust us that this works and that we are exposing you to Scripture because it matters, that we are exposing you to Shakespeare because it matters, that we are exposing you to the sermons of Martin Luther King Jr. because they matter, and that we are exposing you to one another because you matter. I have never seen a group of young people for 1 hour be so vulnerable to one another and to receive only applause as a result of that. So as you go home this summer, you may think about the $1.1 million more that you're going to earn if you persevere. Or, Jonathan talked about going home one summer and working on himself. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm going to go home this summer and work on myself a little bit. And I'm going to ask, am I giving enough? Who will I take to church this summer or school? Who will I be an emotionally safe person for? As you go home this summer, ask yourself, what do I have to give? What can I offer the world? Where do my gifts intersect with the world's great needs? I'm so proud of you today. I'm so thankful that I don't have to say very much because you've said it to one another. And so this summer, is this called Passages? As you experience your passages, may the Lord bless you and keep you and make his face to shine upon you and lift up his countenance upon you and give each one of you way down deep in your soul peace. Amen.